Say this with seriousness and respect, but your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You're on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are illegally refusing to spend funds that have been authorized by this Congress and appropriated by this committee. You are ignoring the immigration laws of this nation, implementing a brand new immigration system that you have invented that has little relation to the statutes that you are required, that you are commanded to follow, as spelled out in your oath of office. You are routinely violating the rights of immigrants who may not be citizens, but whether you like it or not, they have constitutional and statutory rights when they reside in the United States. Your agency acts as if laws don't matter, as if the election gave you some mandate to violate the Constitution and the laws passed by this Congress. It did not give you that mandate. You act as if your disagreement with the law, or even the public's disagreement with the law, is relevant and gives you the ability to create your own law. It does not give you that ability. Let's start with your spending. You are on track to trigger the Anti-Deficiency Act. That means you are going to spend more money than you have been allocated by Congress. This is a rare occurrence, and it is wildly illegal. Your agency will be broke by July, over 2 months before the end of the fiscal year. You may not think that Congress has provided enough money to ICE, but the Constitution and the federal law does not allow you to spend more money than you have been given or to invent.
You pretty much secured the southern border, haven't you?
Yes, sir. The CBP,
And that upsets some of my colleagues, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. They say you've done it the wrong way, haven't they? Mm-hmm. Could you answer that?
Yes, sir. They do say that. Well done.
And that's what you've been enforcing, right?
Exactly. We have been following the Constitution and the rule of law in this country.
And I want to be sure I understand, because there's been a lot of confusing testimony here. You've secured the border, have you not?
This administration has, yes, sir.
And some of my colleagues are upset with you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And they say you did it wrong.
Yes, sir.
And do you agree with me that what they're really upset about is that you did it at all?
Yes, sir.
He zeroed in on the one thing that matters, the fact that millions of illegal immigrants have poured into this country under President Biden's watch. That's not speculation, that's reality. Well, how about that, folks? You just watched Senator Chris Murphy come out swinging with every accusation in the book, only for Senator John Kennedy to stroll in like a Southern gentleman holding a legal sledgehammer. Welcome back to Talking GOP. And tonight's hearing had more sparks than a 4th of July grill. Here's the thing. For years, we've heard lectures from Democrats about compassion, competence, and following the law. But when someone like Kristi Noem actually does enforce the law, suddenly it's cruelty. Suddenly it's incompetence. Suddenly it's the end of civilization. Meanwhile, the same folks cheered as millions poured across the border unchecked. You can't make this stuff up. While Democrats like Chris Murphy try to spin stories about budgets, procedures, and asylum traditions, so stick with me, because when we watch the full exchange, you'll see Kennedy not only backing no one, but flipping the script on the very people who pretend chaos is kindness. And trust me, my breakdown at the end of this video is going to connect some dots the mainstream press hopes you'll ignore. Before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to Free Thinking, and drop a comment below. Do you think Democrats are mad about how the border was secured, or just mad that it was secured at all? I'll be reading your answers because that question cuts deeper than Washington wants to admit.
Listen, I understand that my Republican colleagues on this committee don't view the policy the way that I do. My Republican colleagues don't share my level of concern for the way that this administration treats immigrants. That's fine. But what I don't understand is why we don't have consensus in the Senate and on this committee on the decision by this administration to impound the spending that we have decided together. Now let's talk about why encounters at the southern border are down so much. This is clearly going to be your primary talking point today. You will tell us that it represents a success. But the primary reason why encounters are down is because you are brazenly violating the law every hour of every day. You are refusing to allow people showing up at the southern border to apply for asylum. I acknowledge that you don't believe that people should be able to apply for asylum, but you don't get to choose that. The White House doesn't get to choose that. The law requires you to process people who are showing up at the border and who claim asylum. Why? Because our asylum law is a bipartisan commitment, an effort to correct for our nation's unconscionable decision to deny entry to Jews to this country who were being hunted and killed by the Nazis. Our nation, Republicans and Democrats, decided, wrote it into law, that we would not repeat that horror ever again, and thus we would allow for people who were fleeing terror and torture to come here, arrive at the border, and make a case for asylum.
Madam Secretary.
Secretary, I have some additional questions.
No,
related
sir,
to
that's up
fire
to you
cap.
to manage that time. Senator Kennedy.
Madam
Well, I need a
Secretary.
little help from a chair that respects the members of the
Madam
committee. I'm sorry,
Secretary.
Madam Chair. This is
You pretty much secured the southern border, haven't you?
Yes, sir. The CBP,
And
this president have.
that upsets some of my colleagues, doesn't it? They say you've done it the wrong way, haven't they? Could you answer that?
Yes, sir. They do say that.
Do you think they're upset because you supposedly did it the wrong way, or you think they're upset that you did it at all?
I think they're upset that by President Trump enforcing the law, it happened so quickly and successfully.
Yeah. Now, when President Biden came into office, the first thing he did was get rid of all of the things we were doing to stop people from coming into our country illegally, didn't he?
Yes.
I mean, it was like the Price is Right. Come on down. Except he said, come on in. And most of my Democratic colleagues went along with that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
In fact, they cheered him on, didn't they? Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
How many people do you think President Biden let into our country illegally? Just give me a ballpark figure.
Sir, we don't know for certain, but we believe it could be upwards to 20 million people that are illegally in this country.
So that's like adding 10 Nebraskas to our country, isn't it?
That's correct.
Why do you think President Biden and my Democratic colleagues did that? Do you think they believe in open borders?
I think they believed in open borders and letting people come into this country that would affect our society and criminals. Those other countries emptying out the worst of the worst, their mental institutions, their prisons came in here and jeopardized, and known terrorists.
Well, only one or two circumstances are possible, it seems to me. Either President Biden and the Democrats who supported him believe in open borders, or the people that President Biden put in charge of securing the border, you wouldn't trust to run a snowball stand, right?
That is correct.
So nobody is that incompetent. So it has to be, they just believe in open borders, do they not?
Yes, because I know the people who were securing the border and they weren't allowed to do their job.
Do you think they believe that vetting people at the border is racist?
Yes, I do. I think by the way they allowed people in and granted them immediate parole
Do
status.
you think that President Biden and some of my Democratic colleagues, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush, Madam Secretary, thought of these foreign nationals in our country illegally as potential new voters?
I do, sir.
Okay. If you're an ordinary American and you oppose illegal immigration, but you support legal immigration, does that make you a racist?
No, sir. No, sir, not at all. It just means that you believe there should be a rule of law, and that's what America was built on.
And that's what you've been enforcing, right?
Exactly. We have been following the Constitution and the rule of law in this country.
And I want to be sure I understand, because there's been a lot of confusing testimony here. You've secured the border, have you not?
This administration has, yes, sir.
And some of my colleagues are upset with you,
Yes, sir.
and they say you did it wrong.
Yes, sir.
And do you agree with me that what they're really upset about is that you did it at all?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, let's talk about what really went down. On one side, You had Senator Chris Murphy reading off what sounded like a laundry list of complaints. Budgets, cybersecurity, appropriations, programs he claims are being ignored. It was the classic DC approach: drown the issue in jargon, act indignant, and hope people forget what's actually happening at the southern border. And then comes Senator Kennedy. No theatrics, no long-winded diversions, just straight, simple questions that cut to the heart of the matter. Have you secured the southern border? How many came in under Biden? Why would Democrats open the gates and look the other way? That's why his style resonates. He speaks in plain English, comparing Biden's border policy to The Price is Right, Come On In. It's funny, but it's also deadly serious, because he's painting a picture of exactly how unserious this administration has been about national security. Now here's where Kennedy's brilliance really shines. He framed the issue in a way Murphy couldn't escape. He said, look, either Biden and the Democrats truly believe in open borders, or the people they put in charge aren't fit to run a snowball stand. And guess what? Secretary Noem agreed with him. She confirmed what so many Americans already know: the Biden administration deliberately rolled back effective Trump policies, and in doing so, they invited chaos. That's the difference between Kennedy and Murphy. Murphy wants to lecture, to scold, to point fingers about budgets. Kennedy wants answers. He's standing up for ordinary Americans who support legal immigration but reject lawlessness. He's voicing the frustration of people who are told they're racist for wanting secure borders, when in reality, they're just demanding the rule of law. What makes Kennedy so effective is that he doesn't let his colleagues hide behind procedure. He knows that millions of illegal crossings aren't just a paperwork problem, they're a national security crisis. He forces the uncomfortable truth into the spotlight. Democrats aren't upset that the border is being secured. They're upset that it was secured at all, because it threatens their political strategy. And that's exactly why this exchange matters. Because while Chris Murphy tried to sound polished and serious, it was Senator Kennedy who connected with the real issue: incompetence versus intent, and the devastating consequences of Biden's border failure. So here's my take. Kennedy didn't just win this exchange. He exposed a reality Murphy couldn't defend. Americans deserve leaders who will fight for security, sovereignty, and sanity. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Democrats truly believe in open borders, or are they just pretending not to see the chaos they've created? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep holding Washington accountable together.